All right, welcome and welcome back, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. This is a little bit of a weird month. As you know, or may not know, as I'll start the slow scroll of what we're going over today, Shopify Winter Editions came out. And so this is impacting this monthly series that we have on this channel every single month. So as we can see the update right there, December 11th, and all of the updates on December 11th, Winter Editions came out. And so all of the developers put a lot of the Winter Editions content into the changelog. Now, if you like Shopify and you like Shopify updates and you have a Shopify store, Shopify Editions, Summer Editions, Winter Editions is your biggest, baddest, best time of the year. This just passed and I covered it in detail with 2 massive videos, but to continue the relevance and continuity of this monthly series, I'm not going to be going into detail of all of these December 11th updates. This would just be repetitive information, and if you really want to deep dive onto all of these Winter Editions update, definitely check out Winter Editions 2025. It was actually a lot of fun in the way they formatted it. There's a lot of great content, which I covered in depth over there. But for those of you who are subscribed for our monthly update changelog series, I'm going to be covering more in depth the updates in December prior to that December 11th massive editions dump that we just saw. And we're going to be focusing on the updates that came after editions. There are just a few of them, as you saw at the top, all the developers that look like went on vacation on December 20th and they haven't been back yet, bringing in the new year. So we ended our last video here on November 29th talking about the Shopify Audience Plus improvement just a little bit. So we'll start on December 6th and we'll go up to the December 11th Winter Editions threshold. If you want to know any of those updates, definitely check out Winter Editions, my 2 Winter Editions videos. And then we're going to be looking at the updates after editions. So we have a new marketing automation template to drive online customers to retail location. Now you can invite customers who have only shopped online to visit your retail location. So this is an interesting update. It says that retail merchants can now identify the only online customers near their location and invite them to shop in their local store. So this is an interesting update because it's coming off of a very new update when it comes to customer segmentation. Last video, we saw that Shopify added a few more customer segmentation segments for retail customers by proximity, customers by location, so that businesses have the ability to segment customers who are very close by to their in-person locations. And in this case, we are continuing off of that update from last month. Shopify has made some new marketing automation template specifically for those customer segments to invite those customers who have only shopped with them online only, to invite them into their local store since they're very close by. Makes sense. Very beautiful way of working on the previous update and adding more features to it. That's why we love these update videos. Moving right along, a quick improvement to the checkout, new branding options for checkout and customer accounts order summary. Unfortunately here it says starting December 24th, Shopify Plus merchants will have this ability. And we don't cover anything plus on this channel, so if you want to take a read, you can. But it's just coming at an interesting point in time where Shopify is adding a lot more customizations to the checkout, to the customer accounts, to the order summary, to the thank you page, to the order status page, all these things, not just for Plus merch. The last few months, as we saw in these updates, there has been a massive shift with how much customization any plan merchants can make to their checkout and these areas. If we look at individual updates a little bit closer, we can see that this one is only for Shopify Plus here, but I'm sure it will come down the pipeline to more plans. Moving along, we have a change to the Collective. So on December 9th, Collective retailers display suppliers' online inventory only. So retailer stores now display the supplier's online inventory levels as the available quantity to sell, excluding POS inventory. So this is talking about the Shopify Collective app, where any Shopify store can be a retailer or a supplier for another Shopify store to add different products from other Shopify merchants. This specific update says retailers can now only sell inventory that reflects the supplier's online stock level. So this is a change. This is a small improvement to the Collective app. Or retailers, people who are selling another Shopify stores, who are the suppliers. And this is just a way to improve and ensure there are accurate sellable inventory levels across both stores while maintaining a seamless customer experience. Makes sense. This is an interesting little update coming to customers on December 9th. New customer accounts is now customer accounts. So classic and new customer accounts are changing their names to legacy and customer accounts respectively. Ooh. So it says starting December 9th, 2024, the way we refer to customer accounts is changing across all Shopify owned surfaces. Every little surface. New customer accounts is now called customer accounts, and classic customer accounts is now called legacy. So these changes reflect Shopify's commitment to the future of new customer accounts. And although we have not announced a timeline, classic customer accounts will eventually be retired completely. Ooh, that's a really interesting little last sentence that you might not know about if you don't look at these updates. So a lot of words going on here. So this is talking about customers' accounts, obviously. If you go to your settings in your Shopify store, you can go to customer accounts, and there's always been two options for the longest time. There was classic customer accounts, and then there was new customer accounts. These have some similarities and some differences. The main thing is the way that the customer logs in. So with new customer accounts, the customer logs into their account with their email, and then a PIN is sent to that email, and then that's basically the password they use to enter their account. I honestly kind of like that idea. You know, so many passwords and stuff nowadays, it's hard to remember. Everybody knows this. But that was always my biggest takeaway when it came to the new customer accounts and the old customer accounts. There are other changes as well. That's not the only thing. But since it's been a while since that has been introduced, Shopify is just discontinuing classic customer accounts. They are going to be called legacy, and the legacy customer accounts are then eventually going to be completely retired. So I guess eventually, if you go to the settings, you go to the account settings, you won't have that two-step option. So if you're still using classic customer accounts, well, it's going to be legacied, and then it's going to be eventually retired. So you might want to explore what the difference is, and you might want to select new customer accounts, which is just going to be called customer accounts, since the other one is completely retiring soon. Very, very good. Okay, so these three updates next on December 10th are kind of all one and the same. Anytime that there's an update to Collective, Shopify Collective, a lot of the times the update has to go to retailers, the update has to go to suppliers. It kind of comes in this chunk like this that we always see. But basically, this is saying there's an update to Collective that is impacting retailers, and it's also impacting suppliers. And it's just a way that return and policies are created. So here it says you can automate return processing with Shopify Collective policies. Retailers can now simplify the return process and eliminate manual intervention with automated returns. It says retailers can automatically import new products and update content from suppliers, and retailers can now set custom policy offerings, offering the flexibility to fine-tune how they work with each other. So 3 updates kind of chunked into one here, all reflecting Collective and the relationship between retailers, the relationship between suppliers, specifically in terms of store policies, returns, and automation processing is what this is all about. Okay, so now we have the December 11th winter editions massive dump into the changelog. Again, if you don't know what winter editions is, I'm just going to do a slow scroll here to keep this video's length a little bit shorter, keep its usefulness and its continuity from month to month, as we do these videos every month. But once again, Shopify has this thing called editions, once in the summer, once in the winter, twice a year, and it just unleashes in sort of a very fun way, presentation, all the changes coming to the platform for merchants, for partners, for Plus, for everyone who has a Shopify store. You should really be looking at editions. It's a great way to brainstorm on what to work on next, reintroduce yourself to different features that you may have forgotten, and just come together as a Shopify community. So when that is released, it's a big update. And all of those updates, not all of them, because there's about 150 plus updates on the editions every single time it comes out. So obviously this isn't 150 editions on the changelog, but if you see something here, as we can see, they're covering all types of subjects, customer accounts, apps, checkouts. It's all in editions. And I highly suggest you go and watch my winter 25 edition videos. 2 of them, one is very fun, one is very in detail, so whichever one you like. But to keep the continuity and the length of this video down and the usefulness of this video and this series up, I'm just going to do a slow scroll. So if you wanted to pause there, I'm not going to jump into any of those because we already covered them in our editions video. So we're going to continue off here on December 13th. And this is a very interesting update, actually. So it says on December 13th, Shop Campaigns is now available on all Shopify plans. So now all eligible merchants can acquire and convert customers on Shop, Meta, and Google with risk-free campaigns. Set your cost and only pay when customers convert. Okay, so this is a pretty big update, but I have to start this update by saying Shop Campaigns, even though it's now available on all Shopify plans, they don't mention it here. Shop Campaigns is only available in the United States and Canada at this time. It used to only be available for Shopify Plus. Still Canada, US. Now it's available on all Shopify plans, still Canada and the US. So what the heck is this? So Shop Campaigns is a way of basically running paid targeted ads on Shopify. And the main difference between Shop Campaigns and running ads on Google or Facebook or TikTok or anything like that is that Shop Campaigns always stresses that you only pay for the ad if the customer converts. And so that's why they always say it's this risk-free growth channel, because you don't pay for an ad for nothing. You only pay for the ad if the person converts. But keep in mind, this is not advertising your website. It's advertising your shop channel. So your shop channel on the shop marketplace. So you can, on Shop Campaigns, for example, run an ad on Facebook. It just won't say your company in the top right corner. It will say shop. And the customer viewing the ad will go to the shop marketplace, in which they will view your shop store on the shop marketplace, your shop channel. There's nothing wrong with that, but just to understand how this works and what the difference between normal ad is, maybe on Facebook or Google, or using Shop Campaigns on Facebook or Google, that's kind of the same. But this is definitely a significant update. So it says Shop Campaigns is now available to eligible merchants on all Shopify plans. Like I said, it's only available in Canada and the US. And because they say eligible merchants here, there might be some other legibility involved, but those are the main things. You can now run campaigns across platforms that convert new or lapsed customers on Shop. So this is called Shop Campaigns, so it's only on the Shop channel. It says you can set your CAC, that's your customer acquisition cost, and your targeted ROAS, and that's your return on ad spend, daily budget, and let Shop do the rest. So that's typical on Google and Facebook. You just have basically these levers or these inputs where you can input your CAC and your ROAS and your daily budget, and Shop will do the rest. It says we'll optimize the creative placements and audience. Typically, other platforms do that already as well. And then you just control the costs and only pay when customers convert. It's a risk-free growth channel. So that's really exciting. My personal thing with this is just talking about Shopify and learning Shopify and helping other Shopify entrepreneurs for so long is that you really don't want to run, in my opinion, this is my opinion, anytime I open up a new Shopify store, I don't even consider running paid advertisements of any sort for at least the first year until I have everything set up, until I have recurring revenue that comes in. And then once you have that recurring revenue that comes in, you can take a little slice of each of those orders and you can use it to paid advertise. But if you're paying for paid advertisements and you're sending someone to a website that's incomplete, or a business that's incomplete, or a product, or just anything that looks incomplete or isn't completed for conversions, then it's kind of a waste of money, right? So I guess Shop Campaign helps with this a little bit as it's a risk-free growth channel, but I digress. That's a small update, but haven't seen anything like that from Shop Campaigns in a while because it's always been in Plus. Good to see it coming down the funnel to more plans and more people, as all the Shopify products do. Definitely check out Shop Campaigns. That's a big update. Okay, here's an interesting one. On December 14th, you can handle the Canadian tax holiday automatically with Shopify. So from December 14th to February 15th in 2025, Shopify will automatically handle zero rating for eligible products under Canada's GST HST tax break, just ensure your products are properly categorized. So this is an interesting update. It's very specific to, I suppose, Canadian merchants or also people selling to Canada. So basically what happened in Canada is they had a GST HST holiday break. The federal government was like, we're going to pause GST HST, that's a type of tax, on products during the holiday break. The holiday break going from December 14th to February 15th. So it's still relevant today. Basically, it means that the Canadians don't pay tax on eligible products for this period of time. It was brought down by the federal Canadian government. And so Shopify Tax is available in Canada. And so it's just going over what this means. So which products are eligible? There's a very specific list of products tax break is applied to. The full list can be seen there if you want. But this also brings up another point of categorizing your products, because depending on what category your product falls under, different tax rules apply. And so we saw in the last few months just a very large increase in the Shopify standard product taxonomy and a large increase of AI in this Shopify product taxonomy. And so It's not mandatory when you're creating a new product and a product page to fill out this Shopify standard product taxonomy, but it's right on the product page. And this is a good example of why. It says if your store is not using registration-based taxes, if you enter the rates yourself in your taxes and duty settings, you will not have the GST, HST automatically zero rated for the tax holiday. So that is an interesting point on why Shopify Tax is a really good product. One of the main reasons Shopify Tax really helps merchants is because if there's any changes to the tax percentages, Shopify Tax usually just changes that for you. You know, governments change all the time, municipalities, states, and federal governments come and go all the time, and taxes change all the time. So some people have registration-based taxes, some people use Shopify Tax, some people just have a flat standard rate that they apply to all of their products because they know their tax situation quite well. But when things change like this, almost out of the blue, it may be a little difficult to adjust. So obviously this is not tax advice, and everybody has their own tax situation for their personal tax situation, for their business tax situation. If you can change things here. So what do you need to do? Just review your product categories, ensure eligible products are assigned to the correct categories by December 14th. And that's it. If your product falls within a bolded category in the above PDF, tax will not be collected for the tax holiday automatically. So in the guide Shopify provided, it just goes over all the categories. So again, it says from December 14th to February 15th, the government of Canada is implementing a tax break on specific categories. What are those categories? Well, it goes into detail here. And if you've never seen product taxonomy, this is basically what it looks like. You pick a very broad base term, and then you make it more specific, and you make it more specific, and you try to categorize it as best as possible. Okay, December 17th, commercial invoices will now include tax IDs on managed market orders. For international orders fulfilled using managed market, customer tax IDs will be added to commercial invoices for countries where they are required, including Brazil, China, South Korea. Oh, so it says in certain countries, including Brazil, China, and South Korea, customs officials require shipments to include customer tax IDs. For orders for these countries fulfilled through managed markets, tax IDs collected at checkout will now be automatically added to the commercial invoices. Going forward, managed markets will continue to add this functionality for new countries that begin to require tax ID on commercial invoices. This is super interesting because this update specifically is for managed markets. Managed markets used to be called Markets Pro, if you weren't familiar with the update, and it's a tier above markets. It's up here. It's like a paid service. This is really interesting for me because I think last video or the video before that, I was telling a story about how I had to send a product sample to China, and I had to get the tax ID from the person I was sending it to and manually input it into the customer section of the Shopify admin. But then when I went to print a shipping label, I can't remember now if it was UPS or USPS, somebody's field was too short to input the entire tax ID field. And it was just because of that carrier specific input. I could not use that carrier. I had to use a different carrier. And this was the whole story I was telling. But this is an issue that I came across myself in my own stores. December 19th, new update to the checkout. We always love seeing these yellow updates. It says tax ID is now required in checkout for shipments to Mexico. Collect tax ID information from customers for orders shipping to Mexico starting January 1st, 2025. And so basically it's just saying that the Mexican government made a change for orders under 2,500 USD shipping into Mexico. The additional information fields in the checkout and the orders and the draft orders in the admin need to be filled out. So the RFC field must be populated with the customer's RFC, CURP, or their foreign tax identification number on order shipping into Mexico. This is an interesting little quick update here. Another new item in themes. Direct customers back to the online store after they log in. So it says you can now configure where customers are directed after they log into their account on the online store with a new liquid route. So I get a little hesitant when I see anything like this because this requires liquid coding. And I've always said you don't need to know anything about liquid coding to run a successful Shopify store. I don't know anything about liquid coding, but because I've been running Shopify stores for so long, my coding knowledge has improved a little bit. This is talking about when a customer logs into their account, where do you want them to go? If they're browsing something and they want to add it to their cart, but they forgot to log in, do we want them to go back to that product page? Do we want them to stay on their account page? So there's something called route objects. And it's just a little piece of code that you can configure where the customer goes after they log in. And just to tie up the month, as we can see, it's December 20th and the developers are still on their holiday. So it's a little bit of a short month, but They leave us with winter editions so that we have a lot of content to go through. I highly recommend you checking out my winter editions update video. But a couple last updates here. A lot of updates for Canadian merchants. I like it. So the first update here says charge tax on shipping proportionally in Canada with Shopify. Shopify now taxes shipping proportionally in Canada. Proportional shipping tax applies if you do not use overrides, your products are categorized with the product taxonomy, and you're using registration-based taxes. This is talking about the same thing with the Canadian tax holiday that we already talked about. There's a little update to the 0 rating of properly categorized products. So if you're using Shopify tax and you're in Canada or you're selling to Canada, you're using registration-based taxes, and you are properly in accordance with the tax holiday, there's some information here on how they're charging taxes on shipping. It just says we are now calculating shipping tax proportionally for orders with 0 rated items. 0 rated items means for the Canada tax holiday. So this means for an order with 0 rated and normally taxed products, tax on shipping will be charged at a blended rate weighted by the line item quantity and tax rates in the order. Only 0 rated or exempt items will affect the shipping tax rate. This only applies to GST, not HST, and you must be using registration-based taxes. It's when you register with the government and you get a tax ID and you input it into Shopify tax. This is very specific to Canadian merchants using Shopify tax, using the registration-based tax system in Shopify, and it's only for the 2-month holiday break period. So I'm not gonna spend too much time on this, but again, it just says right here at the bottom, what do you need to do? Just review your product categories, ensure they're accurate, make sure you're not on the legacy tax system, and then it says they'll basically handle the rest. And then the last update of the month, everyone, another Canadian update here. So actually, Canada has been all over the news lately because Canada Post, main postal service in Canada, was on strike for a big majority of the holiday season. And now the federal government has a tax break. And so lots of updates for Canadian merchants. How interesting. So it says Purolator labels are now available to buy through Shopify shipping. And you can now buy domestic shipping labels from Purolator in the Shopify admin. Ooh, so this is a great little update. So it says we've added Purolator as a new carrier on Shopify shipping. If you are a merchant with a location in Canada, you can now purchase domestic shipping labels from Purolator. With more carrier options, you can get your order shipped quickly, cost effectively this holiday season and beyond. So this is very fascinating. Again, this is talking about Shopify shipping. These are capitalized here because this is a product, Shopify shipping. So with Shopify shipping, you can buy discounted shipping labels right from your admin when an order comes in. Obviously, if you are drop shipping or you never have your products on hand, this doesn't really help you because you are sending it straight from a supplier to the customer, right? But a lot of people have their products on them, or they use their in-person location as a little fulfillment and distribution center. That's always a lot of fun. But because of the Canada Post strike, I don't know if you saw, but the CEO of Shopify, Toby, actually tweeted about that Canada Post strike quite harshly. But because of this, it looks like there is this courier called Purolator in Canada. And to make sure that Canadian merchants have more options in Shopify shipping, they have now added Purolator to the Shopify shipping options. You have to be located in Canada, of course, to use this and to buy a label because that's only where Purolator operates. If you buy it anywhere else, you can't actually hand it over to anybody because it's a Purolator label. It's a common misconception when people are buying Shopify shipping labels. So I believe in Canada, you have 3 options now. You have Canada Post, now that they're back off strike. You have UPS, of course, but then you also have Purolator, the fun new toy on the block, Purolator labels. I'm really excited about this update because in winter editions, they added a lot more couriers to a lot more countries using Shopify shipping. For the longest time, it was just this chart and there were only 6 or 7 countries. And within those countries, there were only maybe 2 or 3 options or 1 option for each country. And that was it. There was no updates to that chart for the longest time. Now, winter editions came out with a big update. A lot more couriers, a lot more countries have been added to Shopify shipping. As we can see, this is a perfect example of it for Canada and Purolator. So that wraps up what's new at Shopify for this month. Happy New Year once again, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. Once again, if you run your own Shopify store or you like these Shopify updates to continue to adapt and evolve your own Shopify stores, hit that subscribe button. We do this once a month. And if you haven't seen my winter editions videos, check those out. It only happens twice a year. I went very in detail in one and it's very fun on the other one. So definitely check out my channel for those. Here are the December 11th winter edition updates. Once again, there's only maybe about, I don't know, 15 to 20 on this page. But again, remember, editions is a twice a year update with like 150 plus updates coming to the platform. So if you run a Shopify store and you like Shopify updates, definitely go check them out. There's no reason not to. And of course, as always, if you've learned something new or if this video has helped you in any way, give this video a thumbs up so I know. I genuinely just like helping fellow Shopify entrepreneurs and building a community of fellow Shopify entrepreneurs as we all chase the same e-commerce dreams together. It's always a great time. There's a lot of December 11th updates here. So I'm just going to move past these a little bit. B2B, orders, admin, customer accounts, and then we're back at the beginning of the month. Hope you enjoyed. Like the video if you do, subscribe if you're brand new, and I can't wait to see you guys again next month.